Welcome back to another episode of Scholastic IQ, the game where knowledge rules. I'm your host, Ethan Neer, and we have our first quarterfinals matchup in store for us this week with two fantastic teams that frankly could be in the finals, and I wouldn't be surprised. So let's go ahead and introduce them. On the bottom, we have Carbondale with Ryan, Clark, Daniel, and Theodore. And up top, we have Metro East with Ethan, Harry, Mary, and Peter. Now, before we get into our questions, let's just do a quick recap of our rules. We'll start out with some toss-up questions. Those are worth 10 points. If a team gets it right, they move on to a bonus question, which is worth 20 and can be stolen for 10. You guys are allowed to interrupt me at any time, but if you interrupt me and get a question wrong, it is 5 points for the other team, so just be right. Right? If everybody's all ready to go, let's get into the questions. What device's compound type, which uses...
Lens.
Lens is incorrect. I'll reread the question for you, Metro East. What device is compound typed, which uses both an objective lens and eyepiece to achieve high magnification, is used to study small objects?
Microscope.
Microscopes is correct. And I'll take us to our bonus question. What unsaturated hydrocarbons, the simplest of which have N carbons and 2 N hydrogens, are characterized by a carbon-carbon double bond?
Fat.
That is incorrect. Carbondale, chance to steal.
Alkene.
Alkene is correct. Well done. Your next question. What novel in which Robert elopes with Edward's fiancée Lucy Steele is named after the Dashwood sisters' contrasting traits? Ryan.
Sense and Sensibility.
Sense and Sensibility is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what word refers to the amount of ethanol present in an alcoholic beverage or a mathematical process for demonstrating a statement's truth?
Proof.
Proof is correct. Well done.
Dang it.
Back to the toss-ups. What class, the privileged side in the conflict of the orders, held most political power in early Rome and were distinguished from the plebeians? Peter.
No answer.
All right. Ryan.
The plebs.
That's incorrect. The answer you're looking for was not plebeians, it was patricians. Patricians. Next toss-up. What transition metal, whose carbide is almost as hard as diamond, is used in incandescent light bulbs and is named after the Swedish for heavy stone? Peter.
Tungsten.
Tungsten is correct. Well done. Nice. For your bonus, Savaii and Upolu are islands in what Pacific archipelago nation whose capital is Apia?
Micronesia.
That's incorrect. Carbondale, chance to steal.
Samoa.
Samoa is correct. Well done.
That's fine. That's fine.
Next question. What organization led by former Governor Charlie Baker was ruled to be subject to antitrust laws in 2021, enabling NIL deals for student Ryan?
NCAA.
NCAA is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what process of biodegrading organic matter, Arabically, produces a namesake product that can be used as humus or fertilizer?
Decay.
Decaying. Mulching.
Oh, just decaying.
Decaying.
That's incorrect. Metro East, chance to steal.
Try.
Composting.
Composting is correct. Well done. Next toss-up. What animated film series, whose 5th installment was subtitled Collision Course, features Theodore?
Ice Age.
Ice Age is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, upon reaching Australia, James Cook landed in and named what bay, whose name was afterwards used to refer to a nearby penal colony?
What'd you say? Byron is a bay. Byron.
That's incorrect. Metro East, chance to steal.
Botany.
Botany Bay is correct. Well done, Metro East. And that will take us to our first media question. This Japanese-American singer and songwriter released her first 2 albums while in college and is known for her songs Washing Machine Heart, Clerk.
Mitski.
Mitski is correct. Well done. And since that was a media question, there is no bonus, so we'll just take it back to toss-ups. In 1989, what country formed a contract same after roundtable talks with a labor union founded at the Lenin shipyard by Clark?
Poland.
Poland is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, what Dominican-American author wrote about a boy who loves fantasy novels and suffers from a family curse in The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde?
Cortez.
Iago.
That's incorrect. Matrice, chance to steal.
Williams.
Sad. I don't care.
Williams.
That's incorrect. The answer we're looking for was Juno Diaz. Juno
Does
Diaz.
start with an I.
So the next toss-up. What author won a Booker Prizes for a novel about the Chase family titled The Blind Assassin and for The Testaments, her sequel to The Handmaid's Tale? Theodore.
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret Atwood is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, Edward Elgar wrote a concerto for what instrument played by Jacqueline Dupre and Yo-Yo Ma?
Cello.
Cello.
Cello is correct. Well done. Your next toss-up. What American astronomers' discoveries include redshift increasing with Ryan?
Hubble.
Edwin Hubble is correct. Well done. For your bonus, in the phrase et tu, Brute, Brute is in what grammatical case used to directly address or call someone, as in, O Captain?
Vocative.
A vocative case is correct. Well done, Keith. Your next toss-up. What holiday, which names anti-conscription riots in Quebec in 1918 and a 1916 uprising against the British rule? Theodore.
Easter.
Easter is correct. Well done. For your bonus, in the Roy Lopez opening in chess, both players' second moves involve moving one of what pieces, which must always move multiple spaces?
Knight. Could be bishop. No, knight.
Knight.
Knight is correct. Well done. Next question. What island, which is in the south of the Aeolian Islands, is home to Syracuse and Palermo and lies, Harry?
Sicily.
Sicily is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what equation named for a German chemist determines the reduction potential of a redox reaction based on concentration and temperature?
Boyle.
That's incorrect. Carbondale, chance to steal.
Nernst.
Nernst is correct. Well done. For the next toss-up, what word follows South China Morning in the name of a major Hong Kong newspaper and in the name of a Jeff Bezos? Daniel.
Times.
Times is incorrect. I will reread it for you, Metro East. What word follows South China Morning in the name of a major Hong Kong newspaper and in the name of a Jeff Bezos-owned paper follows Washington? Ethan.
Post.
Post is correct, is in the South China Morning Post. For your bonus, in the treaties of Aigun and Peking, China ceded territories along the Amur River to what country, including its modern-day city of Vladivostok?
Russia.
Russia is correct. Well done. And that'll take us to our next media question. This clown is the persona of the principal mascot for the McDonald's fast food business. He's a citizen of
Ronald. Ronald.
Ronald McDonald is correct. Well done.
Strange audio.
And I'll take us back to our toss-ups. What organization was opposed by William Borah's Irreconcilables and by Henry Cabot Lodge, who kept the U.S. from joining it after World War I? Ethan.
League of Nations.
League of Nations is correct. Well done.
Nice. Good.
For your bonus, the 17th century Castillo de San Marcos is in what Florida city, the oldest continuously inhabited European settlement in the continental United States?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine is correct. Well done. For your next toss-up, what lake, which contains Mishipitcoten Island and Isle Royale, drains Clark?
Lake Superior.
Lake Superior is correct. For your bonus, what Italian composer wrote the aria Una furtiva lagrima and adapted a Walter Scott novel in his opera Lucia dell'Amore?
Vivaldi.
Vivaldi.
That's incorrect. Matrice, chance to steal.
Mozart.
That's incorrect. The answer we're looking for was Gaetano Donizetti.
No, I don't know that. I don't know what the guy did.
Your next toss-up. What author of the story The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas wrote the novel The Left Hand of Darkness as Theodore?
Le Guin.
Le Guin is correct. Well done. For your bonus, What playwright's two most acclaimed works are in his Depression era socially conscious plays Awake and Sing and Waiting for Lefty?
Miller.
Beckett.
That's incorrect. Metro East, chance to steal.
Picasso.
That's incorrect. The answer you're looking for was Clifford Odets. Clifford Odets. Your next question, pencil and paper ready. Rounded to the nearest whole number, how many hours are equivalent to 500 minutes given 1 hour contains 60 minutes? Theodore.
8.
8 is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, what king was punished for feeding his son to the Greek gods by being placed near fruit and water that stayed eternally out of his reach?
Tantalus.
Tantalus is correct. Well done, Daniel. Your next toss-up. What ballet, which follows The Bride and Husbandman, includes 5 variations on the Shaker tune Simple Gifts? Ryan.
Appalachian Spring.
Appalachian Swing is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, the IQR is the difference between the first and third of what values, which are equivalent to the 25th, 50th, and 75th percentiles.
Like the interquartile.
Interquartile range.
Interquartile range is correct. Well done. And that'll take us to our lightning round. The way our lightning round works is each team will have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as they can about a certain topic. Now, Metro East, since you guys are trailing in this one, you get the first pick of the litter. Your choices are Civil War battles, SEM, the letter R, or alliterative people.
The letter R.
The letter R it is. It's like a Sesame Street segment. What does the letter R stand for in these abbreviations? 60 seconds on the clock. I will count you down. 3, 2, 1. The lobbying group NRA.
Rifle.
The fantasy franchise LOTR.
Rings.
The gaming category MMORPG.
Roll.
The college military program ROTC.
Regiment.
That's incorrect. The group for who's over 50 called AARP.
Retired.
The medical procedure CPR.
Resuscitation.
The accounting metric ROI. You can pass as well. The antidepressant class SSRIs.
Reuptake.
The music trade organization RIAA.
Recording.
The environmental nonprofit NRDC.
Reclamation.
That's incorrect. The accounting metric ROI. And that is your last one.
Right.
That is incorrect. So go through the ones that you missed. The college military program ROTC is a reserve.
Oh my gosh.
The accounting metric ROI is returns. And the environmental nonprofit NRDC is resources. All right, Carbondale, it is now your guys' turn to respond. Your choices are alliterative people, Civil War battles, or SEM.
Alliterative people.
Alliterative people it is. Give the surnames of these people with alliterative names. 60 seconds on the clock. I will count you down. 3, 2, 1. Italian explorer who commanded the Santa Maria in 1492. Spanish painter of the Guernica.
Picasso.
Italian who discovered Jupiter's 4th largest moons. First name is also
Galileo.
Daughter of Kris Jenner, formerly married to rapper Ye. Dictator who controlled Spain from 1939 to 1975. Irish author of Finnegan's Wake and Dubliners.
Joyce.
German whose namesake SI unit is the reciprocal of the second.
Hertz.
Star of the movies Falling for Christmas and Mean Girls.
Pass.
Composer of South Pacific and Oklahoma.
Pass.
French philosopher who was chief editor of the Encyclopédie.
Pass.
Star of the movies Falling for Christmas and Mean Girls.
George.
That's incorrect. Composer of South Pacific and Oklahoma.
Gershwin.
That's incorrect. French philosopher who is editor-in-chief of the Encyclopédie. You guys are all out of time, so we will go through the 3 that you missed. The star of the movies Falling for Christmas and Mean Girls is Lindsay Lohan. The composer of South Pacific and Oklahoma is Richard Rogers. And the French philosopher who was chief editor of the Encyclopédie was Denis Diderot. Denis Diderot. All right, and that concludes our lightning round. So let's take a look at our scores afterwards. We have Metro East with 200 to Carbondale's 340. So Carbondale on top, but Metro East still plenty of time for that second half comeback. Taking it back to our toss-ups. What African country, which controls Pemba and Mafia Islands, also controls the semi-autonomous province of Zanzibar, which is north of the Theodore?
Tanzania.
Tanzania is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what company based in Toulouse, France, makes the A380 the world's largest commercial airliner?
Airbus.
Airbus is correct. Well done. For your next toss-up, pencil and paper ready. What is the probability that an event will occur if the odds in favor of the event are 5 to 3? Ryan.
5/8.
5/8 is correct. Well done. For your bonus, in the 2023 NBA playoffs, what franchise led by Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle beat Cleveland before losing to the Miami Heat in the second round?
The Knicks.
The New York Knicks is correct. Hold on. Next question. What Titan, whose many nymph daughters include...
Atlas.
Atlas is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what massive freshwater lake in eastern Siberia is generally considered the world's deepest lake?
Baikal.
Lake Baikal is correct. Well done. Your next toss-up. What color which describes a mist in Jackson Pollock's #1? Ryan.
Lavender.
Lavender is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what process regulated by the enzymes hexokinase and phosphorufructokinase produces pyruvate and is the first step of aerobic respiration?
Citric acid. Glycolysis.
Glycolysis.
Glycolysis is correct. Well done. The next toss-up. What woman who in a 1776 letter told her husband to marry?
Adams.
Abigail Adams is correct. Well, for your bonus, what CBS Evening News anchor who used the catchphrase, "And that's the way it is," held back tears as he announced JFK's assassination?
Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite is correct. Well done. The next toss-up. What author wrote about Miss Manson Mingot, whose granddaughter Ellen Olenska falls in love with Newland Archer? Mary.
Edith Wharton.
Edith Wharton is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what English author wrote the early detective novel The Woman in White and continued to develop the mystery genre in his 1868 novel The Moonstone?
Collins.
Wilkie Collins is correct. Well done. For the next toss-up, what tissue which contains the tracheids and vessel elements uses transpirational pull to move water in plants and usually lies near the phloem? Harry.
Xylem.
Xylem is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what non-binary English actor voices the title blue-haired girl on the Netflix show Hilda and plays the fierce teenager Ellie on HBO's The Last of Us?
Ramsey.
Oh, we accept just Ramsey? Yep, that's correct. It is Bella Ramsey. And that'll take us to our next media question. This app was developed in Clark.
Tumblr.
Tumblr is correct. Hold on. Back to our toss-ups. What Middle Eastern country, whose Qajar dynasty was overthrown in 1925, was ruled until 1979 by members of the Pahlavi dynasty who used the title Shah? Clark.
Iran.
Iran is correct. Well done. For your bonus, pencil and paper ready. How many unique sequences of 4 coin flips have at least 1 tails amongst the 4 outcomes?
Ten.
10.
That's incorrect. Metro East, chance to steal.
12.
12 is also incorrect. The answer is 15. 15. The next toss-up. What country, the site of a sky bridge nicknamed the Horizontal Skyscraper, also contains a stadium called the Bird's Nest and the Ryan?
China.
China is correct. Well done. For For your bonus, a red steel sculpture in Philadelphia created by pop artist Robert Indiana displays what four-letter word with a tilted O?
Hope.
Hope is incorrect. Metro East chance to steal.
Hollywood.
As incorrect as it is love, as it is Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. Back to our toss-ups. What German chemist, whose wife Clara died by suicide in 1915 after he weaponized chlorine? Ethan.
Haber.
Fritz Haber is correct. Well done. Nice. For your bonus, what 1854 law enacted the principle of popular sovereignty by allowing its two namesake territories to decide whether to allow slavery?
Kansas, Nebraska.
Kansas-Nebraska Act is correct. Well done. For the next toss-up, what structure, which was built along a guarded death strip in 1961, was destroyed by protesters in Harry?
Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall is correct. Well done. And for your bonus, pencil and paper ready. 2 answers are required. What 2 values of x are solutions to the equation the square of the quantity 2x equals 36?
Positive and negative square root of 18.
That's incorrect. Carbondale, chance to steal.
X equals 3 and x equals -3.
That is correct. Well done, Daniel. Your next toss-up. What assets whose repeat sale prices are measured on the S&P's Case-Shiller Index are often purchased with financed loans called mortgages? Clark.
Houses.
Houses is correct. Well done. For your bonus, in September 2023, Tharman Shanmugaratnam became the first person of non-Chinese descent to win the presidency of what small South Asian country?
Taiwan.
Taiwan is incorrect. Metro East, chance to steal.
Is it Taiwan? Oh. Thailand. Say that. Thailand.
Thailand is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was Singapore. Singapore. For your next toss-up, what 5-letter word follows asymptotic in naming a branch of the HR diagram and follows red in naming a type of star that the sun will become? Daniel.
Dwarf.
Dwarf is incorrect. Harry.
Giant.
Giant is correct. Well done. For your bonus, the city of Qingdao is found on the shores of what colorfully named sea that lies north of the East China Sea?
Yellow.
The Yellow Sea is correct. Well done. And that'll take us to our next next media question, excuse me. This free-to-play first-person shooter game was developed by Valve. Clark.
Team Fortress 2.
TF2 is correct. Well done. And credit where credit's due, I didn't think any of you guys were gonna get that question correct.
What?
It was made before most of you were born.
Still good.
It's
Still good.
Oh, it's a great game. I'm not saying it's not.
Besides the bots.
Back to our toss-ups. What tool, a variant of which called the Ard was used in ancient times, had a steel type developed by John Deere? Harry.
Plow.
Plow is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, what 1850 poetry collection included untitled verses that begin, "Yes, call me by my pet name," and "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways"?
Sonnets to the Portuguese.
Sonnets from the Portuguese is correct. Well done. Nice. Your next question. What politician who is separating from his spouse, Sophie Gregoire, leads the Liberal Party and serves as the Prime Minister of Canada? Theodore.
Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau is correct. Well done. Now, for your bonus, in what event triggered by a failed assassination of Gaspard de Coligny in 1572 did Catholics massacre thousands of Protestant Huguenots in France?
St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre.
That is correct. Well done, Daniel. Your next toss-up. What Nintendo series, whose newest entry is a mixed reality game subtitled Home Circuit, features Mushroom Gorge? Daniel.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart is correct. For your bonus, colored greens and kale are rich in what element found in hydroxyapatite that is seen the most abundant metal in the human body?
Is it?
Sure.
Calcium.
Calcium is correct. Well done. The next toss-up. What quantity is constant for Newtonian fluids and can be measured in units? Ryan.
Viscosity.
Viscosity is correct. Well done. For your bonus, during the Tri-Wizard tournament, Barty Crotch Jr. impersonates what Auror who uses a magic prosthesis and who later dies while escorting Harry Potter?
Mad Eye Moody.
Mad Eye Moody is correct. Hold on. And that bell means we are all out of time, so let's take a look at our scores. We have Carbondale on top, 560 over Metro East's 420 in what might be one of the highest scoring games we've ever had. So well done to both of you guys. Very well done. Now that is all the time we have for on tonight's show. For our lovely contestants here today and the people working hard behind the camera, I'm Ethan Neer. Thank you so much and good night.